You know that feeling when you're trying to display a list of user avatars, stacking them just right, getting the spacing perfect, and figuring out what to do with overflows? It can be a real headache. Well, today, we're diving into the B4XDaisyAvatarGroup, a UI component that makes all of that incredibly simple. Let's break it down.
Okay, let's just jump right in and look at the finished product. What you're seeing here is a perfectly stacked, modern-looking avatar group. This is the kind of slick UI detail that makes an app feel really professional, right? But getting this look isn't about complex math. It's about using the right tool.
So how do we get that slick look so easily? Let's find out.
The magic behind all of this is the B4XDaisyAvatarGroup component. And this isn't just some generic box to hold things. No, this is a highly specialized tool built for one job and one job only, managing collections of avatars.
Think of it like a smart container. You just toss your individual avatars into it, and the group itself does all the heavy lifting. We're talking arrangement, stacking, styling, even handling what happens when you have too many. It completely automates the layout logic so you don't have to.
Now, this is where it gets really cool. How do you actually control that stacking effect? Well, the secret is a single, powerful property that controls the spacing for every single avatar in the group.
So the goal is to go from just a simple row to that really slick, overlapping stack. And the great news is, you don't need to manually position each and every one.
It's all handled by one thing, the spacing property. This one setting defines the horizontal gap between each avatar. And here's the clever part, the real trick. You give it a negative value, and the component automatically creates that awesome overlap.
And this is literally the line of code that does it. That --x6 value just tells the group, hey, pull each avatar back a bit, right on top of the last one. It's that simple.
And just look at the power of that one line. You go from a basic row to a perfectly overlapped stack. And notice how it even handles the layering automatically, making sure the avatars on the right always appear on top. It just knows.
Overlapping is great, but it's not always what you need. Sometimes you want a clean, organized row with some nice, consistent breathing room. So, can the same property handle that too?
You bet it can. All you have to do is get rid of the negative sign and use a positive value instead. This code right here, group.setSpacing x4, tells the component to do the complete opposite, push each avatar away from the previous one.
And the result is a perfectly spaced row. This really shows just how flexible this component is. With a single property, you can flip between a compact, overlapping stack and a more spread out list, all without touching any other layout code.
Okay, so spacing is sorted, but what happens when your list of users gets really, really long? I mean, you can't just keep adding avatars forever without completely breaking your layout. Well, this component has a super elegant solution for that exact problem. And that's where the LimitTo property comes in. You just set a number, and that becomes the absolute maximum number of avatars the group will show. If you try to add more, it won't crash or get messy. Instead, it automatically whips up a little placeholder to represent all the hidden users.
And again, the code for this is incredibly simple. This single line sets the maximum visible avatars to 5. The moment you add a 6th avatar, it's going to trigger that overflow logic.
So let's just walk through what happens under the hood, because this is all automatic. You start adding your avatars. The component's keeping count. The second you add one more than your limit, say the 6th one when your limit is 5, it just stops rendering new avatars. Instead, it creates a special placeholder and does the math for you. It's totally seamless.
And here it is in action. 9 avatars were added to a group with a limit of 5. The component shows the first 5, and then boom, +4 for the rest. It's clean, it's informative, and it keeps the UI from ever looking cluttered.
We've seen how to control the group's layout and its limits, but how do you actually get the avatars into the group in the first place? Let's take a quick look at that assembly process.
It's a really straightforward process. First, you create an individual avatar. Then, you set what goes inside it, like an image or maybe some text. Finally, you just pass that avatar to the group's addAvatar method. And that's it. The group takes over, applying all the right styles and positioning based on its own settings.
All right, let's do a quick recap of the 2 key properties we've looked at that give you all this amazing control over your UI.
This table pretty much boils it all down. To create these really sophisticated layouts, you only need to master 2 properties: spacing for the visual overlap or gap, and LimitTo for elegantly handling when you have too many. That's the secret sauce.
The true power, though, comes when you combine them.
You can have an overlapping stack that also intelligently handles any overflow. This example here uses a negative spacing to get that overlap effect and a limit-to value to create the +n placeholder. You get a complex, polished look with just 2 simple settings.
And that really gets you thinking, doesn't it? This component takes what could be a really tedious layout challenge and just simplifies it down to a couple of properties. It makes you wonder, what other complex UI patterns that we build manually every single day could be made just as elegant with the right well-designed component?